Okay, so here's what we're going to do for the ribbon art project. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a ribbon. We're going to make a line that's going to cut across the paper. It's going to be a wavy line. So just making a wavy line, it doesn't quite touch top and bottom, but goes across. Now on our line, we want it to have parts that are thick and thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put markings. So I want it pretty thick on this loop, pretty thick on this loop, a thicker loop here, maybe it's a little thicker here, and then that's just going to give me guidelines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the thick parts and then pull it in where I want it to be thinner. Over here you'll notice that I'm drawing these little like gathered lines. Good. Clean that up a little bit. Over here, making it a loop, and here. Great. Okay, so now I can do whatever I need to do to kind of clean up and adjust it. The next step is to color the ribbon. When we color the ribbon, we want to make it go from dark to light, and that's going to create more form. It's going to make it look like it's like curved. It's going to have much more form than a flat ribbon. So you're going to use just one color for the ribbon. So I'm just grabbing a colored pencil, I'm going to sharpen it up here. I'm going to show you how you fade from dark to light. So on the inside of this ribbon, I'm going to make it dark. So what I'm doing is taking my colored pencil and really scrubbing it dark. So this is the area that I know is going to be super duper dark. Now the whole thing is going to be colored in. So first I'm going to do a light application everywhere. I'm using my colored pencil up and down like I'm brushing my teeth. This is going to allow me to color without having any white space, and I can go up and down and left and right. I'm going to go in here, up and down, left and right, up and down, coloring with a light application. So light application is pressing very light with my pencil. I'm using a single color and just varying my pressure to get different values. There we go. Continuing to fill this section. For the demonstration, I'm only filling a small section, but for the thing, you would actually fill the entire thing. Okay, so we want to make that nice and neat. Adding the light. Okay, so now let's go back in and make that dark section a little thicker. So this is insanely dark. This is scrubbing. If this was a sound, it would be a scream. Scrubbing that color on, getting it really dark and bold. Now we have this drop off. We have dark to light. Now here's where the magic happens. We're going to add medium. First thing we're going to do is overlap. So we're going to overlap between light and dark, and we're going to apply another light application. So a second light application. Second light application. Next step is to use a colored pencil in a circular motion. And when you do that, what happens is it blends it really nicely. So now we have this soft fade between one to the other. Camera's not so great to catch it. It looks better in person. Okay, so the next step is to add Zentangles. So the Zentangles are going to get tucked into these little crevices. So there's a bunch of videos and resources in the Google Classroom on Zentangles, but basically you would make your Zentangle. So a Zentangle is a pattern. It's not just a random grouping of lines, and you would draw whatever you're going to make for your Zentangle in these little shapes, and you can put more than one Zentangle next to each other. Maybe this one's going to have straight lines, boxes. Let's go like this. And then that would get traced with an ultra fine Sharpie, which is a thinner one. Now, when you're working on the Zentangle, you trace it in Sharpie after it's done in pencil. And then you're going to pick an area of emphasis. So emphasis in art tells the eye where to go. If everything is kind of the same, the eye has no place to kind of fixate or go. So in each of your Zentangles, you want to add something for emphasis. So maybe you can color something in, like for example, what I could do is make a little, color in half of this shape, and then immediately that becomes a point of emphasis. You can do that here. And you don't need to have it on every section, but maybe in each grouping to add the emphasis to here as well. And here, that's just a regular Zentangle. Okay, next step. Now, we have Zentangles, we have ribbon, we have colors. Now we're going to kind of add another thing that's going to be color. We're going to add spheres. So I'm using a circle template, but you can use anything. Anything around the house would make a great circle. I've had kids use shampoo bottles, pepper shakers, so many things in the house around. So these are going to be on the outside of the ribbon. So on the outside of the ribbon, what you're going to do is you're going to take your pencil and trace and make a circle. Now we're going to change that circle into a sphere by using values to create form. You can make a minimum of 4 spheres, but as many as you want, and then you want to figure out your light source. So I'm going to have my light source coming from the right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sphere and make it look like an olive. So that's where I'm going to keep it white. Now I'm going to take my colored pencil. Now you can use any color you want for your spheres. You can use 100 colors or 5 colors or 3 colors. And I'm going to divide it into sections. So I'm going to divide it into 3 sections. It's important to note that I'm making them like moon faces. They're very curved. That's important. So if I were to make these straight lines, then my piece would look flat. Now I'm going to color in each section in a specific value. The section furthest from, the section that is furthest away from the light source would be the darkest value. So I'm coloring that dark as I can. The next section is, oh, I shouldn't have done that. The next section is medium. I'm going to skip and come back to it. Now I'm going to do the light section. So I'm lightly coloring in this light section. I'm using my colored pencil as lightly as I can. A light application. Skipping that white part. If you forgot the white part, that's fine, or you can go back and use an eraser. And next is medium. So medium, you could do 2 things. You could press a little bit harder somewhere between dark and light like this. And then another option for medium is to do 2 light applications. So 1 pass of light and then a second pass of light. Okay. And then blend between the 2. And there you go. So those are the 3 elements that you would add to the ribbon project. You start with a ribbon, you color that in using dark, medium, and light, and spending a lot of time blending. Then you copy the Zentangles. There's 1,000 examples of Zentangles in the Google Classroom with videos. Those get done in Sharpie. And then you add spheres outside your ribbon, minimum of 4. And you want to make sure you're balancing your colors. So your ribbon is 1 color, but your spheres can be a million different colors.